Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliali in this incarnation. I am here today to talk about the astrological energies from today, December 15th, to December 22nd. So, um, we will continue to have the manifestation of the energy of the full moon in Gemini because there are some aspects that are going to be perfected in the next days. And also, we are going to feel in a more intense way the square between Jupiter retrograde in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces that happens on December 24th. So, this week will be very, very active. And this is the reason, more than anything, that people that have ascendant in mutable signs or personal planets between the degrees 10 and 17 of mutable signs that are Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo, well, perhaps they didn't feel this full moon as much as expansive as it could be, taking in account that we have a lunation together with Jupiter. But perception isn't always reality. I mean, the expansion is there, it is available for us, but it comes accompanied of lessons and challenges of spiritual maturity. And they are matching, the experiences and what we need to experiment. I mean, what we need to go through at this present moment in our personal paths. I left other videos talking about this aspect, so I'm not going to repeat myself in this. This week we are going to feel the possible expressions of them. I'm going to leave that video in the description box. And it is important to take in account that today, December 15th, Mercury ends its retrogradation. It is direct in the degree 6 of Sagittarius. So we have to wait until the 18th, because that day it stops to be stationary, which means that it moves from the same mathematical degree, and it is still in a trine with Mars retrograde in Leo. Therefore, the next days could be days where we are more clarified, where we are finally processing certain things or finding a greater sense in past experiences that collaborates us to make decisions. This is this trine for. This is the positive energy of this trine, making decisions, But, well, on December 18th, I mean, all of these aspects are operating together. So December 18th, the Sun in Sagittarius is perfecting the square with Neptune in Pisces. This was part of the full moon in Gemini too. So this is a tense aspect, and in its shadow implies the lack of healthy boundaries, very linked with excesses. This is the expression of the Sun in Sagittarius. This energy is about celebration, about freedom and expansion, but we have to consider the times of the year that we are going through. We are, ending 2024, and how they are culturally celebrated. Sagittarius is a sign of traditions, and as we know, not every cultural tradition is truly expansive for the soul. So each one, it is going to be in contact with themselves, with oneself, and identifying what we need to do at these moments, or how we want to celebrate or not celebrate. So another expression of this is also about feeling very tired, low energy. But because the vital force, which is represented by the Sun, is being put in situations that are not actually linked with the sense of the path of the soul. And you could feel that physically, the tiredness, the low energy. Precisely, this aspect calls us to connect with our inner voice. I am mixing languages with Spanish, with our inner voice in a very honest way. And because it is a square, for some people, this could imply, that there is an inner truth that they are rejecting. Therefore, the mechanisms of escapism or excesses, they take place to sustain the denial. And ignoring our intuition, sooner or later, it ends up in the loss of sense, in that kind of crisis. Because what we are doing, it is only operating as a distraction that has no purpose. So welcome to the the crisis of sense, because that impulses us to make us questions. So this is about listening to our soul beyond the external voices or the ones that we have acquired also, and trusting that those directions that are, guiding us are the real paths, the real expansive and prosperous paths to follow. So, well, on December 19th, we have Venus in Aquarius making this trine with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. This is active from the 17th to the 21st. And this aspect could be like the necessary impulse to connect with our authentic desires, with what we genuinely want to be and express, with the things that make us feel freedom in the present moment, no matter the circumstances that we are going through, But also, this aspect, it is about creating expansion linked with our relationships, with our resources too. It could be a transit of very innovative ideas. For some of you, perhaps these ideas emerged before because of the retrograde quality of Jupiter, but perhaps you are retaking this from in a different way. I had this idea, but I wanted to do this in a different way. So this is also about moments of joy and experiences with people with whom we can really feel in resonance, this connection from the soul, from the essence, as we are here and now, as what we are here and now. Well, on December 21st, we have the sun entering Capricorn, which is telling us that we have the solstice. Here in the south hemisphere is the summer solstice, and in the north hemisphere, it is the winter one. So this event opens a cycle of 3 months until the next equinox that happens the next year. So we start this season where we are focusing in a very terrestrial way and practical in goals, objectives, in things that we want to construct and that require processes, sustaining those things in time, perseverance. But also it is important to observe what we have conquered until this point, what we have achieved. Perhaps the tiny tops of the mountains that we got, because this could be in the personal matters, inner growth, but also in the external reality. This is Capricorn about, the constructions and how we are taking those actions in a very concrete way. But both of those realities are connected, and everything starts inside. So the chart of the solstice has this interesting aspect because, Saturn in Pisces is the regent of the sun in Capricorn, and it is making this square with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini that I mentioned at the first part of the video. But also the moon in Virgo is making an opposition. So these constructions that have to be born from the soul, they don't respond to external mandates, but to our heart. They have great opportunities to prosper, to become very prosperous. But also there is a key in putting attention to the things that we can improve in the daily things, in our habits, because that is how we are building actually. So the criticism has to be really truly constructive, not from this unsustainable self-exigency that is the other phase of procrastination, because many times what we are not taking to the concrete matter, it is not done because of the elevated pretensions of the ego. So it is better to initiate and do whatever thing we need to do with the tools that we have, and to learn and develop other resources in the process. So this is very, very important to take in account in this first next cycle. Sorry. So, well, I am going to end this video here. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.